Hi guys, it's Marine and I'm going to be doing the predictions for the AQA A-Level Law 2026 exams. So I did predictions last year on my TikTok and it blew up a lot. So I thought this year I'll do it on YouTube so more of you guys can access it. These are just predictions, by the way. I do not want to get sued for negligent misstatements, so make sure you do revise everything accordingly because anything can come up, but this is just based on what I've seen throughout the last few years. Okay, so this video is going to be focusing on paper 1 criminal law, but before I start, I've just got my MacBook to hand to just go through my notes. So just a reminder, the exams are pretty soon. The first exam, which is paper 1, is on the 21st of May. And then in June, you've got paper 2 on the 1st of June. And then you've got paper 3 on the 9th of June, depending on which one you're doing, whether it's contract law or human rights, they're both there. Today's video is basically just focusing on criminal law. And I'm just going to give you a brief insight on what I think could come up in the exams. Paper 1, just going back onto kind of the structures. Generally in all 3 papers, you will be assessed on the English legal system and it will be worth 25% of each paper. You will also be assessed on the substantive law part, so your criminal, your tort, your contract, your human rights. That will be around 75% of each paper. I've seen a pattern with multiple choice questions in all 3 papers, and always 2 questions are focused on substantive law, so kind of like your criminal, tort, human rights, contract, and then the other 3 questions are based on ELS, so the English legal system. I've also seen a pattern where one 5-mark question will always be based on the English legal system question, and then the other one will also be a substantive law question as well. So my predictions will exclude English legal system topics only because it is a bit more limited and you can be tested across anything. However, it will be solely focused on criminal law. So I want to first start with question 9 because this is what I started with when I did my TikTok series as well. So last year I actually did get this wrong because I did believe it was fault. However, justice did come up and it was justice with insanity last year. So for this year, I am predicting it can be fault. The only reason why I say that is because in 2024, it was the 2 theories of correspondence and maximum certainty. And in 2025 was justice. So unless they want to trick you guys up and question you on another theory of criminal law, then most likely it will be fault. I have also put a potential theory of criminal law question for question 9 as well. So I do also think it could potentially be no retrospective liability, maybe with correspondence. So with criminal law, there's only like 4 theories that you need to know, and you can have a look on the AQA spec for that. I also think it can be fault with essentially maybe something along the lines of maybe a strict liability offence or something to do with mens rea maybe. So ideally I do think it's fault. I'm not really sure about the topic as of yet. However, it can either be fault or a theory of criminal law question. Another theme I've seen for the last few years is that murder has appeared on every single paper from 2020 to 2025. So it kind of makes sense that murder will also be presented in this year's paper as well. I did predict last year about attempts coming up, and attempts didn't actually come up, or it did come up in terms of like the robbery theft question. So I do think maybe attempted murder can come up this year, only because just tying in the whole kind of concept that murder has appeared in every single paper, it kind of makes sense there. So when it comes to the big 30 markers, what I think it could also be for question 10 and question 11. So last year it was theft, robbery, and then question 10 was murder, sexual infidelity, and then section 47 assault. So because murder came up in a 30 marker, I don't think it could come up in a 30 marker this year. However, if it does come up as a 30 marker, most likely it would be paired with diminished responsibility as a defence, because that hasn't been in the papers for a few years. An alternative 30 marker question could also be unlawful act manslaughter or gross negligence manslaughter paired together for this year. And I also think battery can come up as well. That's just based on what I've seen with kind of themes that have been tested. And I don't think unlawful act manslaughter and gross negligence manslaughter has been tested simultaneously for a few years. So that's kind of like my theory behind why I think those could be 30 markers. So that I would say maybe could be question 10. And I think for question 11, it could potentially be section 18, Offences Against the Persons Act, and also a section 20, Offences Against the Persons Act, with maybe an an issue of transferred malice or some sort of break in the chain of causation issue as well. Only because as a 30 marker, they will put in lots of different things to trick you guys up. I also think in that section 18 and section 20, automatism or self-defense can come up as well. Automatism hasn't actually come up in a 30 marker for quite a bit of time as well. And I think self-defense as well would be a really good one, especially maybe even self-defense or duress. However, I think duress came up last year, so maybe it could be self-defense or automatism for the smaller defenses. So that is question 9, 10 and 11 for the predictions. I would also say for the 10 marker, so question 8, most likely it could be either robbery or a loss of control. That's only because there's quite a few elements, and in terms of kind of what I've seen over the years, I don't think robbery has ever been assessed as a 10 mark question. So I think that'd be quite a good one. And I've also noticed throughout the years as well, it kind of alternates with kind of what it could be. So last year, the 10 mark question was actually GNM, so gross negligence manslaughter. And in the following year, so 2024, it was a diminished responsibility. And then the year before that, so 2023, it was theft. Then the year before that, it was murder. So there's no clear kind of pattern between offence, defence, offence and a defence. However, just based on what I've seen and what I think the examiners will want to assess you guys on, most likely it could be a robbery question or a loss of control question. So that would be for question 8 ideally. However, if it does come up in an MCQ or in a 5 marker, then that could potentially be it. So that's essentially my predictions for criminal law for this year in terms of the big questions, question 9 and question 8. Another thing I want to raise and flag up is if question 9 in paper 1 will be fault, then ultimately paper 2, so tort law, will have to be morality. I will be doing another video on paper 2 predictions. Please make sure you stay and watch out for that video. But essentially, where it is fault in every single criminal law paper throughout the last few years, it has literally been morality. They don't do duplicate questions for both papers. It will be one or the other. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. If you guys want any more further advice in relation to A-levels, uni, a law degree generally, please make sure you're following my TikTok at Marine's Legal Life. Also subscribe to this channel as well, where we are going to be posting more videos on more predictions for 2026.